Well, good afternoon. Sorry, a little late today. Can you blame me? Let you guys get in here in the show, but glad you're along. Monarchs Mocha, the final regular season edition of Monarchs Mocha. Dan Flom, the voice of the Kansas City Monarchs. And I got to adjust my mic. Give me just a moment here. Let me kind of adjust that. It looks like I'm looking a little bit like Elvis there. Got the Elvis collar working. There we go. How you folks get in here? Questions, comments, all that coming to you as well. Want to hear from y'all today. Let you guys get settled in. Bear with me. Let's see. I realized this today. Today's Wednesday. Okay. I'm going to go back 2 weeks. We were Wednesday 2 weeks ago. We were in Sioux Falls at Cafea. In 2 weeks' time, this is what we've done. We've gone from Sioux Falls to Texas, 4 days in Texas, back home for the off days, played here we were here what, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, to Sioux City on Sunday, Sioux City on Monday, back home on Tuesday, back home on Wednesday, back home on Thursday, and then Thursday night went to Fargo. Friday, Saturday, Fargo, back home Sunday or overnight, back home to Kansas City Sunday. So it's been a bit of a whirlwind and just now sort of decompressing. We celebrated yesterday, had a great celebration. Thanks to the folks, the Legends Complex across the way. Thanks to Mark Brandmeier for having the great the donuts and coffee and and for the team lunch. And it was really just a kind of a decompressed celebration day. Now it's decompressed time. And really, I caught myself today, and I don't want to get that far ahead. I'll get to that in a moment, but I started thinking about next year already. And I know that's not what we need to be doing, but that's how our brains work. We're already thinking about next season, and what the season will bring. And already, little odds and ends, little tidbits for next season, we can already start to kind of piece together. Things that may or may not be happening here. We'll get to a couple of those news and notes in a moment. But in general, it's kind of decompressed time. I want to hear from you all. I want to hear what you guys think about just in general. I'm going to give you, I think I've got it narrowed down to, I think I've got four key games. I know when I look back at the season from a little further back, I'll try to find it's 10 key moments or 10 key games. Or 10 key moments and maybe coming into a game. But at the moment, I think there really were several ebbs and flows looking back in the big picture that I came up with, and we'll go through those in a moment. I want to hear what you guys think about just in general, the season, what you're looking forward to in the offseason. What are you looking forward to next year? I mean, I guess my question to you folks everybody out there is, what did you enjoy most about this year? And what are you looking forward to most about next year? And just your comments and questions, and we'll take your critiques if we need to. You have something you want to get off your chest, I'm all here, because we won't do this for a couple of weeks. It'll be a few weeks we do this again. We expect to probably come your way. I will take some time. Got to get some numbers crunched and things like that, and I got to get my Talking Baseball Australia show going again, which is my off-season show. But that's not the important thing. The important thing is get the numbers things done from here, and then. Once we kind of get settled in, we kind of have a breath, and we've enjoyed the celebration for a few weeks. We'll start to look at 2022, which, we're in the fall now. Today is the first day of fall, so we're only one more season away from 22, right? And we'll be talking about the fall. We'll be talking about the spring. We'll talk about the winter and all that, and eventually the summer. It will get here. And it will come to us fast. But let's enjoy it now. Let's enjoy what we can. So I want to hear from you guys. I want to hear what you guys have to say. Get your questions and comments. I'm not sure what I pulled up over here. I came over here for some reason. I don't remember why I came over with my other tab here, but pull this back up. Kevin, any Monarchs going to Atlantic League to wrap up? As far as I know, that's what I was going to look up. As far as I know, now let me double check because I heard some chatter, but I think the Atlantic League thing is sort of it used to be what Kevin's asking about. It used to be very big, the Atlantic League, because their season went longer. A lot of older guys who were, maybe, would want to get noticed, thinking they get noticed a little bit more, would head to the Atlantic League to finish things out. And as far as I know, I'm just looking here. I haven't seen the transaction sheet today, but as far as I know, I've not heard anything about that. Most of the guys that I know of here, now I don't know about the other teams, Kevin, but from I know from here, there's some interest. A couple of guys in Mexico. We did talk about this Jose Samos, who said he's playing in Puerto Rico, but you already probably knew that. But I believe we've got a couple of guys looking at Mexico. Australia was going to be a fairly decent player for a couple of guys, but the situation with the imports, and I think I told you this last night, Kevin, it's up in the air. Now, if you read the tea leaves, some teams are telling you imports are going to Australia. I'm hearing that's not the case, and most of the players are telling me that the opportunities in Australia are less this year, and it doesn't, because the season's been moved back into December now, and it's moving back even later. And last year, they basically sprinted the finish the last 4 weeks. So if you haven't heard, Australia's a mess right now. And my thoughts and prayers, by the way, to my friends and mates in Victoria. I had an earthquake there in Melbourne and in parts of Victoria overnight, or actually yesterday late for us in the day. And just one more curveball they've got to deal with. They've had some major issues in Victoria already with some of the unrest with the fan. Folks get a little jumpy over there. They most Australians can't even leave the country. Can't even cross state borders in some cases. There's quarantines. It's been a real mess, but I think the light's coming because their vaccination rate's finally getting up in a decent area, but not where it needs to be. But just thoughts and prayers for my friends in Australia. It's a real mess right now. But yeah, I haven't heard much about that. Resign Paul. You know what? Would not shock me. I think Orlando, I didn't get to know him very well, but I got to talk to him quite a bit. And he was a really engaging guy. He loves Kansas City. He lives here. This is his home. His family's here. It would not shock me that he's a part of things next year. If he does not get an invite to spring training or a chance to play overseas, you would definitely see him being here. And I don't know his situation with Team Brazil, but I would imagine he also wants to get some. I don't know what their situation is, but I would think if he wants to play baseball next year, the door is wide open here. And I would think that'd be possible. I know there's a relationship there with him and Joe Cathpietra, relationship with the city of Kansas City and the metro area. It would not shock me at all to see him back. I have not seen I've not had a chance to see the list yet. Now, I thought I would today of guys that contracts have been picked up. I do believe he signed that option paper, but doesn't mean anything anymore. All it says is they're willing to come back and work a contract out. So I think that's a good step. What the process now is, Ronnie, guys like him, Ryan Grotjohn, for example, we had a great conversation. Grody, he wants to come back, but he wants to see, and obviously, and Joe's going to make the phone calls for these guys. Joe is actively calling big league clubs and saying, look, our farm directors and the scouts, these guys are ready. These guys can do it. Give this guy a shot. Scouts and all that. And I think that you'll see probably a guy like, guys like that will have a chance to go to a big league camp or minor league camp with affiliated ball. And then they may still see their way back here. The Monarchs could still have their rights. Paulo Orlando's rights will still belong to Joe and the Monarchs, but Orlando will have a chance to explore his options and guys like Grotjohn, whoever. I thought about this morning. I would think the team as a whole will not be back next year. That's just never going to happen in this level. But it would not shock me to see more faces that you saw in 21 back in 22 than ever before under Joe, because I think there's a nucleus here of guys who have really found a love for the game again the second half of the season. What I mean by that, guys, like a guy like Jeremy Rhodes, who maybe one more half season here gets picked up again and gets a big league opportunity. Or a guy like, I could see a guy like Cody Mincy, who if he gets released, if he was to get released, I didn't say he has, but I can see a guy like that being back. I can see a Jamison McGrain being back. I mean, I can see guys like that being back as Nick. By the way, tickets on sale now for next season. Season tickets, baby.
Call me.
So when I do my shows in the off season, I'll come and do them in the ticket office here, so we can. This is the broadcast booth in the season, but it's Ticket Central during the off season. So Nick's kicking me out in about 2 hours. He's like, you've had enough of you. Get your broadcast yourself somewhere else. Go bug somebody else, he says. But no, it's ongoing process, fluid here. And to explain the process to you folks is a really good time to do that. What the Monarchs do is that, and every team in the association does this, the last couple of days of the season, there's a chart on the wall, and it says, who is interested in having their contract. Basically what it is, in technical language, it says, sign if you want to have your contract option for next year, which means an option on a contract negotiation going forward. If they're retiring, if they're, retiring is the biggest thing. In the rare case that a guy signed after the season, like the last week, that's very rare. But most of the time, and I would say 90% of the guys sign that page. The only ones that won't are the guys who are going to retire. Now, I don't know who would that be. There may be. I would think there's probably one or two guys that probably said, you know what, I've had a great run, and we've seen this before. I'll go back to Cody Winarski, who was a T-bone in 19 or 18. He retired. He went back to grad school and got his master's and retired. So there's that. The 19 season, a great example, Tommy Collier. Collier had some options out there to go maybe play in the Atlantic League or go play somewhere else, and he took some time. It did sign that option paper. Then Tommy retired. It all depends on the guy, but I would think like a guy like Morgan McCullough is a great example. McCullough signed the sheet, which means the Monarchs have his rights regardless, but that means the option's been exercised, which means the Monarchs have forwarded those names in the league. Those guys are currently on the roster for 2022. You'll see a list of those, and I don't think they've come up yet as of yet. I haven't seen them. I haven't seen them. For example, last week, Milwaukee exercised contract options on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24 players on the roster. I mean, every Milwaukee Milkman that you knew, the names, they all got contracts out. No, that all happens. Now, of course, they got done that day. They were done that very next day or that day. Chicago exercised the options as well. Let's see here. Kansas City's list. Here's the list for Kansas City. The list for Chicago. Kansas City's list, I've got it right here. I do have it. I thought I had it. And it doesn't always mean you're going to get the guy. And sometimes it's guys that were injured too. Let's see. Monarchs did 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. The list of players, 24 players at the moment, have had their options, the contract options have exercised. Charcer Burks, Carlos Diaz, Justin Donatello, Cole Dunsing, Brock Gilliam, Casey Gillespie, Gunnar Groen, Ryan Grotjohn, Matt Hall, Ibanel Isabel, Carson LaRue, Jacob Lindgren, Morgan McCullough, Jamison McGrain, Alexis Almeida, Jeremy Rhodes, Kivas Sampson, Kevin Santa, Justin Shaver, Dalbert Siri, Darnell Sweeney, Nick Travieso, Daniel Wazadier, and Connell Willis. Notice Orlando's not on there. There's also other names that could be on there down the road. Orlando could be on there down the road. Trying to think of a name here. Eric Stout would come up on that list as well. I think Stout would probably be eventually you'll see on that list. Anyone that played here and gets released from another organization will be on that list, but there's time. They give these guys, that's the initial list, but Orlando on that list, that doesn't mean, I'm trying to think who else is on the list here. Who did not? I'm looking at my two lists here. Will you give me a moment here? I know this is kind of for example, I don't think Jake Mathis is on that list. I believe Jake may be retiring, but don't quote me on that. He's also a coach in the offseason. Elroy Urbina is also not on that list. He may be going back to Mexico and playing. That's a possibility. Don't have it officially. Just got a scanning here. Darnell Sweeney. Did I not see Sweeney on that list? I don't know this for a fact, his situation. My guess is, did I not? Oh, he's on there. Darnell's on there. My bad. Darnell's on there. McCullough's on there. Burke's on there. Gabby Guerrero. Did I mention his name? Yeah, see, I don't see Gabby on there. So those are possible. The Monarchs still have their rights, but the contracts have not been exercised. Now, what that means to you folks, and I'll get back to the show in a second. But what that means is we get a little tangent here. Sorry, I got to get this off the screen here. I'll get you caught up here in a moment. What that means is, while a couple of names are on there, most are. What I tell you, 23 out of 25 are on there, and not including the inactive players. What that means is those guys' contracts have already been optioned for next year. There's a contract option for them next year. The Monarchs can pick it up. When the American Association works, it's an ongoing 1-year contract, right? And you also have rights to guys. For example, remember back in the spring, or back in the what was it? It was the trade with, I believe, with Sioux City. Who is that? Let me pull it up. Give me a second. It's off the wall here. But there was a trade with Sioux City with Nick Franklin. And Franklin, well, gosh, dang it. There was a rights to a player. And basically what that means is, here we go. The Schaefer trade, where is it? Okay, no, it was the Milwaukee trade. It was Will Kinger, who was optioned by Milwaukee, and the Monarchs have a revisionary rights to a guy named right-hander Brandon Cook. So that is a possibility. I mean, you know what I'm saying? That's a guy that you could also, you have an option. You have guys that have options for. You'd have an option on you have option contracts, which you've got. Those guys you've already got contracts on. You got revisionary rights. Orlando would be there. Gabby Guerrero would be there. This gentleman, Brandon Cook, would be there. There's several others along the way. I'm trying to find that Franklin deal, if I can find it here. What was that trade done? That was an early. To Nick Belzer is revisionary rights to Nick Belzer. So that's how that works. But we'll go through that a little bit more. We will dive a lot in the hot stove in the winter. We'll go through a whole class on this again. We'll have a show probably in October, November, all about this. We'll spend about 15 minutes of doing that. We'll even have Joe probably on the show to answer how that works. It's very important, but it's a little different. These are basically, it's a revolving 1-year contracts. And you've got those rights picked up, and dang near 90% of the guys are picked up. It doesn't mean guys' rights that aren't picked up, because we've had last year, I'm trying to think of a name from last year that didn't get an option picked up that was signed later on. And that does happen all the time. It almost always happens. So a lot of those names, if you didn't hear a name, then we'll get to that down the road a little bit more in detail. But I will, that's important you guys know that. I should probably talk that off the top, because I had the list. I couldn't find it, but there's the list. So there you go. All right, let's get caught up with the rest of the questions here. Did you get yes, I did get my picture of the trophy. It was late, and there was hardly anybody here, but yes. And do I have a photo of that? I do. Let me find that photo. I have a photo of that. Let's do that. Let's find that real quick, because I did post that, I think, on my Instagram, I think, but I'm sort of catching up on some of that. Let me see if I can find it for you. There I am. I'll screen share it. Almost positive I did it. Boy, what a lot of love yesterday from the yeah. But yeah, I did get my photo taken with the trophy, and here we go. Here we go. I got it for you. I got two. I actually got two. I got a photo bomb and I got two. Let's share them with you. You guys want to see these? Let's do that. Let's share this. With this, I got a photo bombed in one, but they're good. I think it's good. There we go. This is from my personal album here. Bring her comment down. This is from my personal album from my own personal Facebook page. Here we go. Let's show it to you folks. There it is. There I am with the trophy. Let's move it along here. This is the one I got photobombed in. Hold on. There we go. And you can see Tyler Stelter behind me, photobombing me. There we go. So yeah, got my picture there with the trophy. I think I've got this. This might be fun to listen to. Hold on. I think there's me and Jack in the booth after the win. Jack looks a lot of focus, but we're making it work. There's my view from upstairs. Here we go. What a run they had this year in one heck of a tough division. This is my view. Bring that glove right there around the eyes. And you know what? A little roller back to now. There's McGray. He'll race to first base. He'll do it by himself. And the Monarchs have won it. Rain reborn. Reigns again. And 2021 American Association champion. And you can nudge this one. Final score: Kansas City 8. There you go. That's what I did. That was shot from the booth, from my phone. And what I probably should have done in hindsight, and I didn't even think about it because there's a whole bunch of post-game celebration from my booth cam, but they're all kind of wide shots. If I'd have thought about it, I'd have turned the booth cam around and done it that way. But I was actually talking. I'd forgot about this now that you bring that up, Sarah. I was actually filming that with my phone while I'm trying to talk. And I think I almost dropped. There's a kind of a pause there. I think as I dang near on drop, I kind of almost dropped the phone. And I think because I kind of gripped it again, that little pause actually let the thing breathe a bit. So it worked out. But there you go. That's for my. Let me see if I got anything else. Oh, you know what? I'll give you a couple more album shots. These are actually pretty good. Let's see here. Oh, this is a post-game celebration. This is what was left. When I walked out at 3 a.m., this is what it looked like when I walked. This is actually not 3 a.m. This is probably about 2. But that was just some of the leftover partying. What are you going to do, right? There we go. That's the while I'm here, I guess national anthem. Oops, sorry about that. And that's me before the ball game. I mean, these are all the things that you'll see on my personal page, but no one wants to see that nonsense, right? They don't want to see what DV is up to. So there you go. That's there. You asked for it. There you got it. Anthony says, I had thought about the season beginning and things started to click. Then the team began to gel. That's the last part of the season. I had no doubt you could see the confidence. Great. You know, Anthony, and I'm going to sort of get to that too. And I'm glad you guys are along. My question to you folks is in our final show of the regular season is, what did you enjoy most? What are you looking forward to most? What did you enjoy most about 21? What are you looking forward to most about 22? Anthony, I'm with you. I told several people this, and I think I told this on the show this week in the association. I was nervous about Sioux City, not as much about the series. I believe the Monarchs will win the series, but I was worried it would be a nail-biter, tooth-and-nail 5-gamer, only because of familiarity, the rivalry thing, and I had a feeling that there's that whole back against the wall thing, and people had kind of taught me into that. But then as the series got closer, once we got to Friday, the more I thought about it, I said, this team is just simply better. And I go back to the series when the Monarchs were in Sioux City in early August and went up there and basically just they won the game. They won game 2 of the doubleheader, and they had to squeak that one out. I think it was 3-2. Monarchs we kicked their tails the game 1. Won game 2. lost game 3 goes a doubleheader, and then game 4 beat them again like a drum. I mean, really, and then also we beat them here swept them here in a series previous out of first place. And I when I thought about that, so my only concern was that Sioux City would steal one game here. That was my only thought I thought of, because in both series, those two teams, the winner of game 1 of those two previous series in 18 and 19, the game 1 winner did not win the series. But once the Monarchs did what the Monarchs did, and that was just dominating game 2, there was no doubt. We were told to pack for 6 days, but I got to tell you, I'll be honest with you, I packed a couple of things that I thought, well, if I got to wear something, this is ridiculous, I'll tell you this, but I like to dress nice on the road. I like to dress nice in the booth. And I actually took a couple of dress shirts that I'd worn over the weekend here at the ballpark, thinking, well, you know what? I don't think I'm going to need them, but just in case, a worn shirt's not going to kill me, right? That was kind of my attitude. And I thought, well, you know what? If we do go 6 games and I need to get something else, we'll be in Chicago or Fargo, and I'll grab something there. That was kind of my attitude, because I really, even though I packed for 6 days, my suitcase had a lot of room in it, okay? I didn't take my big case. I didn't take my little roller that I take overnight. It was my medium size that I take on our shorter trips, and it had plenty of room in there. I was able to put all my extra gear in there and all that. That's how I felt. And I really felt the Monarchs were the better team. Now, I will tell you, it would not have shocked me, and like I told several people last Friday, it did not shock me we swept the series up there in Fargo, or swept the series at all. It did not shock me we won both games. I just think the way it's set up, it did not shock me. I thought we would split for sure, and I thought, well, dang it, once we won game 1, I thought, once we won game 1, I woke up on Saturday knowing we'll win tonight somehow, some way. And dang it, we didn't score 6 runs in the first inning. I'm like, we had to held on for it a little bit, a little drama there. But I'm with you, Anthony. I really felt the same thing. You're nervous. I was nervous. We're all nervous, especially in that 6th inning on Saturday. But in general, I'm with you. Let me get caught up here as I'm kind of getting off. I get a little long-headed. When we lost, Hernandez was kind of down, but it was our team came together and they never looked back. I think this year was the best team that I've seen. Sure that we have many of the players come back. I've already purchased all right. I purchased tickets for next season. I can't wait to have you. Jim, you're a phenomenal fan. I wish I could have visited you more this year downstairs. One of my goals for next year is shoot this show before the ball game, before the ball game show downstairs, and also be downstairs to visit you guys more often, because we were all growing pains this year, learning curves and things like that. I won't let that happen next year. So all good with that. Got my ice coffee. Got my. I brought this back from. You guys would like to see this. I brought this back from Fargo, Youngblood, good coffee shop there in North Dakota. But Youngblood, very good iced coffee. But anyway, you guys are. That's really good. Really solid coffee. All right, but yeah. Let's see here. But yeah, I'll get downstairs more next year, Jim. It'll visit with you guys. There's a little learning curve this year, and I really, we did some different things, and we're going to do some even better things. So, what do you think has it? What do you think? Why do you think Gabby has it signed by someone on the kind of area? I think that's in the works. Now, what you got to understand, let me explain a little bit to you, and Jay, you may know this. Guys from the Dominican Republic, Puerto Rico, Venezuela, Mexico, who are from those places, oftentimes play in those places in the off season, and they use that playing in their native country, Dominican League, especially Dominican, Puerto Rico, and Venezuela. Those 3 countries, those guys will come home and play there. And oftentimes those big league scouts are there big time, because any questions that were answered or weren't answered, for Gabby's case, they were answered. And I think if they want to see more answers, they can watch him down at winter ball. If guys were hurt and they go down and play winter ball and there's still some doubt, They're playing against very good competition, and it's that last, okay, we need 4 or 5 more spots for our spring training roster. Let's get this guy. And the Major League Scouts are down there. They're down there in earnest at that time. I think he's going down there to the Dominican Republic, but I don't know for sure. But that's what he told me. But again, what I'm telling you is, it's like the eye test. We talked about this before. Adam Brett Walker in Milwaukee is a great example. I know Adam Brett Walker can play baseball. My eye test tells me that. I'm not a scout. I don't have analytics on my side. I can't tell you any of the sabermetrics that these guys want to tell you that are in. The Rays will tell you that the way the Rays do business is all through sabermetrics and all that stuff. But my eye test tells me Adam Brett Walker can play. My eye test tells me Gabby Guerrero can play. Now, does a scout say, well, Jan Hernandez is a great example too. Well, they always said, well, Jan doesn't have a position. Well, he plays third. He can play right. I mean, he's played third at AAA this year. Jan Hernandez had 6 outfield assists, led the league at one point. Wasn't like the guy couldn't play the outfield. So my eye test tells me these guys can play. It can be political sometimes. I don't think in Gabby's case it is. I think Gabby's got a lot of things on his side. He's a really just a phenomenal individual of starters. I would think, again, this is just me off the cuff here, but I would think he was on a long list, probably a short list, to be honest with you, of guys that have a chance to perhaps be playing in Korea, Japan, or Taiwan. The type of ball game they play there in general is a certain type of ball player. It's a more of a rail cat style of baseball. They don't train to hit balls like Gabby does. They don't train they train him a different style of play over there. But Gabby, what makes him unique is while he's got power and pop, he's unselfish. He can do the little things. He can go out the middle if he has to. We see him go against the shift. He can lay a bunt down if he has to. He also can run very well. He can field very well. I mean, while he's got the power bat, he does bring the power bat, but what he also brings that a lot of import bats that go overseas and play don't have, he also has the ability to be unselfish and play that style of baseball that's required in Korea, Japan, and Taiwan. It's a different style of baseball that we're not used to seeing. The long ball is not as big of a deal over there. Moving runners, going up the middle, back, hitting runs. Gabby does all those things. He does all those things. He's a 5-tool player. So I don't know if that answers your question, but I think it really tells you that there's a lot of good ball players out there, and I believe he has still got one more run in him in affiliated baseball. I don't know where that'll be, but I can tell you that, just from what I've heard, that, people are watching. They're watching, and whatever questions were out there were answered. Now, what those questions may be, I mean, I had a scout for the Blue Jays tell me recently that it's all about questions and answers. And this is a guy at Scouts Internationally. I respect him dearly. He said that, questions and answers. And oftentimes I have questions about a guy and I'll watch him and I got to take a while to answer those questions. And maybe the full season of Gabby doing what Gabby did is going to take care of that. But I think he's still, and I guarantee you Joe's making those calls. And I know Gabby's agent's making those calls. I mean, you don't think the Guerrero name carries a little weight in baseball? I mean, but that's a very good question, Jay. Good stuff. Already locked in. All right, Anthony, I like it. David, what's going on, mate? Good on you. Good on you, mate. Good to see you. Did Rain Reborn Reigns Again planned out of your call? I don't know how. You always think about how it'll sound. Jim Nantz said one time 2 years ago, I heard him in a seminar. Jim Nantz said, half of them come naturally, half of them come out somewhere else, and they come back again, right? Does that make sense? What I'm saying to you is, you think of things along the way, and maybe you missed a chance to use something, and you thought, well, that'd have been great to use it, or you use it in a different situation. You think, well, that'd have probably been better in this situation. That's part of it. Yeah, some guys do plan it out. You know what? I think the Rain Reborn thing is something we've talked about all year, so that's always in my head. It's a lot like, and I will tell you this, Kevin, because I use legend, I know I said the Legends of the Legends in 2018, and that was more because the Legends area. Lo and behold, we're Legends Field now, and it's become the Legends with the Monarchs. That was in my head a lot during the week when I was thinking, what would I say if that when it comes? Because I'm not gonna lie to you. As a broadcaster, you think about these things. You want to get better. I'm not saying I script it out. That's what I'm saying. One thing I script out is my opens usually, and those are more because I have a certain way I want to open the game. They're not word for word scripted out. Don't get me wrong, but they are. What are you doing? Who's back there behind me?
It's the voice of the Monarchs, Dan Vaughn.
It's Nate Herron in the house. Look at him. He's like, what are you doing here?
I'm getting ready for a tacos and tequila concert.
Are you like doing that? What's not till Saturday?
I've had like 8 shots
He's
of
already
tequila already.
He's got 6 balls of tequila in his pocket. What are you doing, bud?
Research how to announce a Chihuahua beauty pageant contest.
Yeah.
And a salsa eating contest, Lucha Libre. So
a Chihuahua eating or salsa eating? Which one's it?
Depends on how much tequila has been consumed.
You did awesome this year, bud. He got another ring. He's got another ring, baby. Two-time champ. There he is. Nate Herron stopping by a drive-by. Drive-by. There he is.
Come and get my Christmas gifts. I got to go pick up the championship gear.
There you go. Stocking stuffers.
Oh, yeah.
There he is, folks. How about that legend right there, huh? We got tickets going on. We got we got Nate stopping by. Next thing you know, it'll be next thing Monty will come through the roof. Oh my goodness. Where was I? Oh yeah. But again, to plan out the call, no, I'm not gonna lie to you. We do think about those things. You're trying to work on your craft. I wish I worked harder on it. Honestly, I just don't have unfortunately, because of some of the time constraints with the things I want to do, some things go, and I just go on my God-given talent sometimes. That being said, you do listen to your stuff. And I had always toyed with the idea, when I would think of my walks in the morning, Legends kept coming up because Legends Field, Legends, that was where I would think it would sound like. That was what I thought it would sound like. But then Reign Reborn always has come up in our Monarchs 101s and our Coors Light flashback moments. I've used it so many times. It got a little worn, but I used it quite a bit. I got to tell you, I really kind of feel like I should have said, and this may be something I'll say next time. The Monarchs, in several news stories of the 1920s and 30s, you would see references the Monarchs reigned supreme. The Monarchs reigned over their opponents. There was a common sports writer terminology written about the Kansas City Monarchs. So that also was that reigning over, or reigning over, like a king reigns over his subjects. That was that always is in my head because of the news stories I've read. And I've read probably about 200 news stories on the Monarchs from the 1920s, 30s, and 40s, 50s, and the 60s. I mean, boatloads of them, 2 and 3 a day. So, I mean, this is something I've done quite a bit. And I've seen that over and over again. So those two things were kind of in the mix. But then it came back. Reign Reborn made sense because when I said it, I mean, Reign Reborn's what we said all year. It's the T-shirt we've all been wearing. That was kind of came naturally. I think if I type something out, and when I type it on my phone, a Twitter post, and I type in a hashtag, Reign Reborn comes up as one of the ones I've typed a boatload of times. So in my head, I think that part of the Reign Reborn was almost like it was a button that was already programmed in, or a microchip in my brain was already going to say that regardless. But I didn't know what combination would come out. I didn't know it was going to be Reign Reborn, Reigns. That part of it, I didn't even, that was not, the Reign Reborn I would thought about, I'm sure, because it's something we talked about. But the Reigns again, that was not something I thought about. That came sort of in the spur of the last play. And when the Legend of Legends 2 years ago or 3 years ago came Legends of Legends came. Legends was not something that came to me before, but the Legends of Legends did. So I'd say, like Jim Nance says, it's part of it's things you think of, part of it's things that come off the top of your head. And this is where reading these game stories over and over again about these Monarchs came to play, because the name Reign and Reign again, that had come over my head so many times, and it just came naturally. So kind of a 50-50 right there. The 5-game sweep, that was a high. Yes, huge, Kenny, huge. Let me give you my spots here. Okay, 4-8 start, no biggie, right? Didn't go well initially, although the Lincoln thing looks back on that now that we had a hard time with Lincoln when they won 2 games here. That should have been a foreshadow. It was. My first thing I would tell you was, and I've said this a lot, was the stretch, the Cleburne-Gary stretch. The Monarchs were in a stretch where they went to Cleburne and to Gary. Now they went down to Cleburne, and I remember telling my mom and my wife, I said, this team's scuffling right now. They were trying to find an identity, and we're clearly a better team than Gary. But Gary gave us fits. The weekend before, we'd won the series in Cleburne, and we'd lost Eric Stout. Justin Baker was on his way out 2 days later. You lost Daniel Wozniak he was injured. You were down 3 bodies going to Gary, and so we made the trade for Jake Mathis on a Friday. It was the 4th of June, and then 2 days later, Elroy Obina, Charcer Burks, and Alexis Almeida all show up. And as I told you guys in the broadcast, I said this many times in the show, in and of themselves, there's a nice piece. But the collective, what they did was those 3 pieces linked everything else together. Almeida got you a catcher who knew Jan Hernandez, who had some knowledge of the team and had some veteran knowledge of how to handle a staff immediately, and he went to work. Almeida went to work right away. And remember, at the time, Morgan McCullough was catching. He was thrust in the catching role for a couple of days. And Alexis went right in there to get a relationship with the pitchers. I mean, he got off the plane in Chicago at Midway, came to the ballpark, and he was right there diving in. He was meeting. I remember walking in the clubhouse to go interview Joe on the top step, and Alexis was with all the pitchers. They were all chatting, and they were going through, trying to get to know them all. He spent one-on-one daily with those guys in that trip, learning each starter. I mean, really dove into it because he didn't know any of them. Elroy became a very big part of the long relief, and that sounds like a real underheld. Long relief's a lot like being a punter. You only think of a punt when a punter shanks one or gets one, punts one 20 yards up in the air and back down again. That's when you think about a punter. But all the punter does is 45-yard net and does his job, but if he drops the snap, or the punter tries to he drops the snap and runs for his life and gets sacked, fumbles, then you think the punter sucks, right? Middle relief's a lot like that. Long and middle relief is like that. If you're a guy that's coming into the ball game when you're down or your inning or your guy's got a high pitch count and you're trying to salvage innings, that's a very unheralded job sometimes. But it was huge. Elroy was able to eat some innings up, help the pitching staff stretch out as a starting staff because you had guys coming in. Cody Mincy needed to have some time to get stretched out. Put my roster back from the transaction sheet back up. Mathis had not started in a few weeks. You'd lost Stout. You had Robinson Martinez who had to be stretched out. Remember him? You also had several. Gregory Vasquez in the trade. You had a lot of guys that were picked up. And Joe doesn't just throw guys the wolves, but you had a lot, also different gentlemen like looking here. Just over and over again, these names pop up of guys that were here. And for example, just Schaefer at the time was pitching on a low pitch count. And he needed more innings. And you needed innings. You were going to wear your rotation out. You had Jamison McGrain, who was thrust in the rotation, and he was not to be had to be stretched out as well. Elroy bought you viable innings in June and in July. I don't think people realize there were valuable innings as the team got their sea legs and got that thing going. If your middle relief sucked and you were giving up, if Elroy's middle relief sucked, he would have stood out. But what Elroy did was link the starting into the bullpen together and bought them innings. In and of itself, Elroy's numbers don't stand out and jump out. You go, that guy was awesome, but he was huge. Then Charcer Burks. Now, Charcer Burks' situation was interesting. When Burks came along, he didn't play that first day. I don't think he played until the second day in Gary. And a long conversation with him. You never know how a young man from affiliated ball, just out of affiliated ball, especially the A ball ranks, is going to transition into our game. And he was slowly brought in. And I'm trying to look here, the timeline, as I'm looking at the timeline here. He basically won. He won the job. Johnny Field, the big leaguer, was brought in to be that guy, to be Charles Burks. It became very clear in about 2 weeks' time that Charles Burks had not only won the spot over Johnny Field wasn't playing every day. Johnny Field was platooning with Burks. Eventually, Burks was delivering, and Burks unseated Johnny Field. Field became the fourth outfielder, and eventually Field was let go. What it did was it solidified center field and your corners with Willis in the corner, because Colin would have to play center. Ryan Grosjean could play second base and not play the outfield, which he had to do a little bit here and there when guys were down. But in general, you had a lot of moving pieces. Grosjean playing there, Sweeney had to play center some. You had a real flux of the outfield. And I'll tell you, that move on June 6th and the one with Mathis giving an extra piece, the 8 innings as a starter, and get your bullpen and your starting pitching and your catching situation solidified, that was spot number one. Number two, I would tell you, came against Sioux City here. They rolled into town in July. They were in first place. They were the big dogs in the division. A great start. We're looking pretty good. They didn't survive their injury issues. Kansas City did. They didn't survive their players being transferred. Kansas City did. Now, you can, from a Sioux City standpoint, if you're a Sioux City fan, those are questions you got to ask yourself. Why is that the case? As a Kansas City fan, you know good and well the guy down there in the top step is down there knowing that, okay, well, Jan Hernandez is probably not going to be here in August. Who's going to be here? He was already making those moves ahead. The Paulo Orlando conversation we had earlier, that was a move was made back in April and May. That was a conversation Joe been having. That's why I continue to tell you that being manager of the year of the American Association is not just about putting a lineup card together and getting the most out of a team that stinks. It's also about finding bodies to replace bodies you lose. And so I would tell you that is huge, huge for this ball club. And so when you see these moves being made at the time, you're kind of, and I told you this at the time, I even said it in June, these moves, I'm telling you, down the road will make sense. I don't always know what they are because I don't know. But you look back on the season, you realize, okay, that was huge. So that Sioux City thing, Sioux City rolls in, they're in first place. They didn't survive their injuries. They didn't survive their players being transferred, which weren't even close to many that we had, 20 some odd, right? The Monarchs did. And the Monarchs swept them here. That was a message right there. This is a different situation. Kansas City also, the next week, went to Lincoln and won a series in Lincoln. That little 10-day window, because Lincoln had your number already. That second trip to Lincoln took care of business. And from then on, the division was yours. Cleveland was never going to catch you, and you got rolling and rolling and rolling. I would tell you the third piece of the puzzle, the third big thing, when the team lost Jan Hernandez on a Saturday down there, or it was a Friday night, I guess it was, right? Friday night there in Tennessee. Joe messaged me during walking across the field. The clubhouses are out in center field. He's walking across the field, texted me, Jan's been signed by the Reds. And here's a new lineup. We're like, what? We're like, oh my gosh, what are we going to do? And 10 days later, on a first pitch he sees, Imadel Isabel launches one to center field with a batter's eye. And I'm not saying you don't replace Jan Hernandez. You also don't replace Imadel Isabel with 11 home runs and 29 ball games. I mean, you don't replace either guy. It's about adding, it's shifting and moving on. It's the next guy up. It's where you fill those holes in. And I'll tell you that coming back from Tennessee, it was a fun drive back. And I remember Joe being very relaxed. The team was relaxed. We lost 2 or 3 there, but you knew this thing was still playing good ball. You knew you had a great August ahead of you, and by that time you'd already taken care. You'd already put a notice out to Lincoln and to Sioux City and to Cleveland who the best team in the division was. Now to do is just do it one more time in August, and they did that. So I would tell you your moments to me that I look back on the season was the moves in June, for the 4th to the 6th. The series against Sioux City here, where you swept them. And that also came after you'd lost the doubleheader against Sioux Falls here. Remember you got swept the doubleheader by Sioux Falls? And, of course, we'd look up later, they would not be as formidable as they were at the time. And then I would tell you that getting Ibado Isabel and going into August, and I'll give you the fourth final piece of the puzzle, not puzzle piece, the fourth final thing, that August, because I think when you go to Cleveland and sweep them in a series, you go to Sioux City and win a series, you go to Sioux Falls, you go to Lincoln and win a series in July and August, you basically rip your opponent's hearts out in the division because they think, well, we got to win 3 ball games against these guys, or 2 or 3, and they can't do it. On their home field, they couldn't win 2 or 3 or 3 or 4 or whatever. And that sent a huge message. So I would tell you those 4 moments were the things that I think that really, and once that Cleveland series, this team was done. I mean, this team was you might, and several players told me, and people told me in the league, this is from other teams, you guys are best team we've seen all year, best team we've seen in years. So, all right, off track again. Did I? Let's see here. What was probably they were angry before the games even started. They ran their mouths. Let me just say this politically. Can I answer this in like a White House spokesperson would say? Let me answer this like a White House spokesperson would say. Because I gotta, they do things their way. It's not our way. It's not the way a lot of teams do it, but they do things their way. I have the uttermost respect and love and admiration for Steve Montgomery. I know him very well. We have a connection through Australian baseball for the Perth Heat. He has been very good to me in my work in Australia. So I tell you this going forward, that I have a lot of respect for him. John Roos, their owner, the people there could not be any nicer. Okay. Now, what transpires in that dugout in their clubhouse on the field, I don't know that piece of the puzzle. I don't understand it. I can't tell you. All I can tell you is their way of doing things is different than the way of doing things in Kansas City. That's what I can tell you. And it's like we talk about this all the time. You're going to drive from here to Atlanta. There's a couple ways to get there, more than one. There's several ways to get there. You can go up to New York and down if you want. You can go down to Texas and across, or you can just go down straight down through St. Louis, Cape Girardeau to Nashville, that easy, straighter route. It's probably a bad example. Maybe I can say it this way. A lot of ways to get to shoot. Let's use Omaha. A lot of ways to get to Omaha from here. It's pretty easy. Go up straight up 29, right? Or you can go to Denver and drive around. You can go different ways to get there. Everybody has their own way of doing things. Their way of doing things is different than our way of doing things. That's the best answer I can give you. I can tell you this, you won't see that. You won't see what you saw in that dugout on the right side. I'll just tell you that. Is that political correct enough? All right. Carol, you back, Jay, no problem. I know I'm a little behind here. Thank you very much. Great year. It was great, the whole organization. Great stuff all year. I mean, I don't think, and we're at the Negro League Museum in January, and we're all, I remember walking downtown from the hotel I was staying at, 20-degree weather, 7 a.m. in the morning, thinking, boy, how are we going to pull this off? And then you look forward down the road, and we pulled it off and done what we've done here. And I'll even tell you this. I'm going to give you guys, as Monarchs fans, one more little thing to tell you that you should be proud of. Outside the lines, we've become an organization that is looked at around the league as that's a good place to do business. That's how you do it. St. Paul was always looked at like that. Winnipeg has always been looked at like that. Chicago in their new ballpark, Milwaukee in their new ballpark. Those are the teams that people look at in this league and go, pretty awesome. They do business right. They do things right. Our ballpark, older, but you wouldn't know it now, whether it's been redone, and we're only in phase 1. The culture, the organization, the branding, all the things that are going on with the museum, we've become a place in this league that league brass, other league owners, GMs, they look to now to us, where before, I'm not, and this is by no means, this a knock on the T-Bones, so don't take it that way. But it wasn't always the case. The T-Bones were looking up to them back in the day. Now folks are looking up to us. And it's not because of the championship. It's not because of the championship. What we've learned this year is you don't need cute colors and names to have a great moniker and a great story. And that doesn't be all wheels off. You know, you can do things a different way. You can celebrate history and still create history. You know, the whole thing I told the group yesterday at the Legends, it's about love. I mean, we live in a crazy world now. This brand has a chance, an opportunity to unite people and bring people together of understanding different colors and creeds and religions and all that. I'm just all on the same page to love baseball again and to love each other again. And that's seen by people on the league. I mean, you're going to see more and more Negro League tributes, and that's all going to come from here. And I'm telling you right now, when I tell you this, because I know enough people in this league, in this game, and they know, and I mean international people too, they know that this is a phenomenal situation that people look at outside the word again. And then, yes, we have a great coaching staff. Yes. And I will tell you, I'd be remiss if I didn't tell you this, that when former general manager Chris Brown of the T-Bones pulled out his desk drawer the name of Joe Kath-Pietrin, I didn't tell you that because that's who brought him in here. I will tell you that. That's a fact. When he put that name, that was the name when he made that call, that was huge because Joe was here before the Monarchs became the Monarchs. His culture between the lines is already here. And this team has won, I told the staff this earlier, 30 games below 500 when he took over as overall. Now above 500 by 30 games. 4 consecutive winning seasons. The franchise had never had more than 1 consecutive winning season. As a matter of fact, the franchise won in 2008 as the number 4 seed in the playoffs and had a below 500 record to beat the number 1 team in the first round, Fargo. So what I'm telling you is you guys are right on. Joe's staff is phenomenal. What Joe's culture is phenomenal. And I would be remiss if I didn't throw out the name and how that came about, because that did come about in the old ownership. But what I'm telling you is outside the lines, people look to this group now and say, what Jay Hendrickson's done, what Mark McKee, Mark Brandmeier have done, what we're all doing, everybody's doing is top notch. Thank you very much, sir. I appreciate it. It's very kind of you. I just a guy trying my hardest, and it's a labor of love sometimes. And it's like Morgan Clinton's dad was in here the other night and kind of laughing around about the one man band. It's like I should have. Not what it was. Somebody else was telling me that the other day. Somebody was telling me, oh, it was like yesterday. I think it was Shaggy Historian was telling me yesterday. He looks like I should have the one man band guy with the instruments and got the cymbals going. I got the guitar going. I mean that guy, and the cymbals between his thighs, that guy. But yes, I appreciate it. It's a question. Let's see here. But yeah, again, just very happy for that. People are looking at us. When my dear friends who I worked with in this business my first year tell me, hey, we want to hear more about what you guys are doing. I used to be, hey, I want to hear what you guys are doing. Now they're asking me what we're doing. That's a lot of respect and that's an ultimate tip of the cap to Mark, and Jay, and the entire organization. It's really cool. And when I've got people in Australia messaging me going, man, that's awesome what you guys did. And not the championship, what you guys are doing, the other things you're doing. Anyway. I meant to ask that to Josh Schaub the other night. My guess is it will stick. And here's why I think, and I have not heard this officially, and I guess it's probably they're going to have the meetings. The owners' meetings are coming up in a couple weeks' time, month's time. 2 things to watch, Nate. Division alignment, that's item number 1. If the division alignment is wonky, I can see them having some kind of and it may not be exactly like it was this year, but I can see an expanded playoff again. I can see it again. Because you've got a question up there right now. You've got 2 teams in the Milwaukee area. You've got the 2 teams in Chicago. 3, because Kent County. You got 5 teams in one area. The league's only got 12 teams, right? So what are you going to do? Who's the odd man out? Who's the odd man out? Who joins that group of 6? Is it Fargo? Is it Sioux City? Is it Sioux Falls? I mean, geography-wise, you can make a case for all of them. Make a case for Kansas City. At one time, Kansas City was in the same division as Gary. Is it Lincoln? What do you do? Do you go to 3 divisions? If that's the case, then I would. So again, I think a lot of it, Nate, depends on what happens with the whole division alignment. If the division alignment stays the same, then I think they'd probably leave it the same. If the division alignment goes to 3, then they could do a very similar thing that they did a couple years ago, where you have, it was the 3-team division was the 3 division winners and 1 wild card. I believe that's what it was, right? Yeah, 3 division winners and 1 wild card. I can see them doing 3 division winners and 3 wild card. I don't know, 3 wild cards. I don't know. The lower 2 wild cards play a play-in, then they reseed again. They can do all kinds of things like that, but I would think that would be the case. What's the schedule? I know that they want to do some things in the outfield where the bleachers are, and now, in case you didn't see the news today, and I don't have the graphic up, but the news today was that the women's soccer team will be playing at Children's Mercy next year. So the original 2-year plan of having soccer here will go away. And what that means is anybody's guess. Prior to them coming here, there was plans for some stuff in the outfield, much like we had before, and some kind of pavilions out there. Also believe there's a question about what they want to do with the terrace area. It's in a bit of a strange angle. Not so much an angle, it's a bit of a strange place. What do you want to do with that? You want to turn that into, what kind of seating is that going to be? I would imagine the field will take a major step forward as well. And what they want to do with the field, because I imagine the drainage system will need to be, there's things like that. There's a long, long laundry list, but I think phase 1 it started upstairs. And I think you're going to continue to see upgrades in sound and video. You're going to see upgrades, continue to see upgrades. This is going to be a constantly evolving process. The clubhouses are in good shape, so that all has been done, but constantly upgrading process. But those are things I would think on the laundry list of things. But I would look for something out of left field and also out in center field beyond, out with the part where the old tent, where the tents are. I would look for something there as part of that second run. And then just constantly putting those pieces together as we go along. Good question. Last call for questions here. What are we going to do in the off season? Well, we're going to dry dog it for a short time. We will bring the show back. We will. I may just keep it the Monarchs Mocha off season. I think he's doing well, my friend. He's doing well. He is doing very well, Zach. Very well. I don't think he in case what he's asking. Nick Miller was our groundskeeper. Tyler did a phenomenal job. And matter of fact, I can tell you this: I know both very well. And Nate told me recently he thinks Tyler is phenomenal what he does, and he's actually Nate and Tyler have spoken quite a bit about ins and outs of it, because what a groundskeeper does, it's like think of it in your own terms. Have you ever had something you're your baby, maybe your front yard? For me, it's my grill, right? I know my grill at the back of my hand. I know the best part of my grill in my backyard, right? I know how it works. So if somebody came to use my grill, I had to give them a little advice on, I would recommend putting, if you're going to do some shrimp on this part and put them on first, steaks on this, you know what I'm saying? Fields are the same way. They're your babies. You nurture them and grow them, and you got to kind of say, okay, this, and so they've shared ideas and thoughts. And I know Nate's very, very happy, and we are happy with Tyler, and Tyler's happy. So that's a great story. They both are doing great things, and I'm very happy for them. So I miss them all. Casey, I missed your comment earlier. What did you say earlier? First off, we went on vacation, back on the grid. Yes. back to the grind. You're going. Casey's going down to Florida, aren't you, babe? Lucky dog, you. My wife and I got a message today to go to Gainesville, which is not like real Florida. That's like pretend Florida. Is it real Florida like Miami and Key West and Key Largo and all those places? Gainesville is not, it's like Jacksonville. I love Jacks, but it's not like real Florida. I don't know if we're going to go or not, but we got a chance to go see my nephew play, or not play, watch him. See my nephew sit in the stands and cheer for the Gators, I guess. I don't know if we'll go or not. We're going to go to Happy Valley perhaps. But yes, back to the grind again. Casey said you up here. I missed this case. Yeah, it's magical. And again, I go back, and Casey, you hear me say this every single time. 2017, we were series in Wichita, won a three-game series in Wichita. And a gentleman named Zach Walters was a stud in that series. Stud. He was gone 2 days later. I'm like, how on earth is this team going to compete with losing Zach Walters? Well, fast forward to 17, second best record, missed the postseason in a three-way tiebreaker, 18 a chance. What I'm telling you is this culture, this thing, like I said in the broadcast the other night, it doesn't mean every day you're going to win a championship, but it wouldn't shock me. Would it shock me to be sitting here next year going, okay, round two, round three? No. You never know what happens in the postseason, but yes, it's a magical team, a special team, and it was a special team. When they'll be measured, the standards are very high here. But I know that guy down there. He'll try to reach those standards every time. He's tried it every time. And I mean by Joe Capiatra and Bill Sobey, John West, and Mike Hinneman, and Frank White, a big part of this. Believe me, Frank didn't travel a lot with us, but I can tell you right now, he knows everything goes on there. After every game, Frank's texting back and forth with Joe and with Bill and Frank and John. They know. But this thing is built for. This is like when the Yankees were in a good groove, or the Royals were in a good groove, or the Braves. These teams that were in good grooves. This thing's built because the man in the top step and what he has, and the culture of this thing. You have the outside the Lions culture, which is phenomenal. Monarchs, Reign Reborn, and what the passion that Mark Brandmeier brings, and you throw the passion that Joe Capietta brings. Postseason celebrations should be the norm around here. And the great thing about that is it wasn't always the case. You've had postseason baseball 3 consecutive years. In 2 of those years, now where she didn't play 1 year, but 2 of those years, you won a championship. I think I let that sink in. All righty. The plans of the off season. You're going to Florida. Okay, mate. You guys should do a reunion. Yeah, why not? Hey, I do a reunion in Jacksonville every couple of years with the folks that you worked with in Jacksonville years ago. Reign supreme, but it might be. May very well be. A lot of really good things going on. As far as the off season goes, we're going to take a little dry dock here for a short time. We'll bring back, and I'm thinking, I need to sort of dial into what I want to do as far as the name. This is where I have to sit down and kind of brainstorm myself over a cup of coffee with no distractions and just kind of let it sink in. But the schedule is, and I told Mark Brandmeier and the staff, we'll do our monthly thing, but I'm thinking more like every 2 weeks. And what my proposal is, that's the idea, probably every 2 weeks, on average. Now, we'll obviously the holidays, but I like to do, and we're going to do some audio stuff too. What I'm thinking about doing is the monthly show and also a podcast of some sorts, more focused on what we heard and what we did with Monarchs 101 and our flashback moments. So a lot of that stuff we can play again. There's a lot we can repurpose all of it and chat about it, because I think it's, and maybe even find more information about it with more research and more time. A lot to update. The SoundCloud page is way behind. I do apologize. It's the only thing I haven't updated. I just got to update. That's going to take me about 3 days, but I'll get it. And but other than that, we will have a little dry dock. Any breaking news though, we will have for you. We get breaking news if we somehow Ted Williams is dug up and we bring Ted Williams back to play for us. Well, we're going to let you know that. Okay, we'll let you know that. I think it is in Chicago, isn't it? I don't know. Where does America say media winter? Oh, media winter meetings. Oh, I think so. Okay. My proposal is this: I'd love to get the guys together for a trip to Vegas because that's what I would love to do, but I don't know if that'll fly. But I would love to get the broadcasters together, the media guys together, because I only get to know them mostly through the competition and through the daily grind. The exception probably of Brad Allred and Michael Dixon to a degree because they live in they make their off-season homes in the same, not neighborhood, but same neck of the woods that we kind of cross paths a little bit more. I would love to be able to do kind of a get-together with all the guys and gals and everybody in the media department. I don't know, maybe we do that in Vegas. Because I love the reason I got so close to the guys in Kansas City today because I was able to get to know them over a cold one. I got to know Matt Folks and from over people like that. That's how I got to know you, Kevo. I mean, cold ones there in the Twin Cities. That's I believe some of the best negotiations can be done over a cold one. Am I crazy with that? It's kind of Australian negotiations, I guess. Well, Vegas trip. Yeah, bring the wives, and why not, right? Well, I know Brad will be in. I know Michael will be in. I know I'd be in. I'm sure Connor would be in. Now, I don't know. I don't know if Tom at Milwaukee. I don't know about the young kids. I think Sam Brief would be in. Sam is he's a young man, but Sam's got a bit of an old soul to him. Sam's got an old soul. He's already got the flat there in Chicago. He's already in the city and the whole thing. They're in that highbrow Lincoln Park area. I can see Sam already into it. Max Kelton, I don't know. He's a young fella, but I'm thinking he'd probably do it. Schuster, I mean, I think I know him, but I think he'd go. I know Sean Aronson be in, but he's no longer. Well, he'd bring him anyway as honorary. Now the wild card would be guys like Joe Zanaboni. I don't know what Joe's travel habits are, and then I think that and then Jack Michaels. Does Jack want to? Jack strikes me as a guy who's not going to be shoveling snow, so he's all good for going to Vegas, right? I don't know. But there's no Waterwork in Vegas, but there is In-N-Out Burger right there on Dean Martin Boulevard, right there behind, right where the Raiders Stadium is. Right on really, it's on one block, and then 2 blocks away, it's Dean Martin Boulevard, dead ends of the stadium. There's a In-N-Out Burger because I know it very well because I used to go through In-N-Out Burger's drive-through in my cab on the way to the airport and sit there and eat get to the airport and check in. I'd eat there at the check-in counter because you couldn't get In-N-Out in Texas. Now you can, so now it's anyway. Yeah, no Whataburgers. We can go. All right, now we're just getting crazy here. All right. Well, I'll be making announcements here, and we will let you know when the show's coming back. And again, won't be very long, but about a month's time. I don't think we need to break down every. If there's a major signing, yes, but all as far as the contract options and all that, we'll post a couple of things here and there, some fun stuff. I'm working on a deal. I want to go back through some of the highlights, especially the postseason. I got my booth cam video, but I haven't been through any of it. So I don't know what my reaction was for example, what was my reaction when Carlos Diaz struck out Jordan George the other night? What was my reaction? Did I have the whiskey in hand or not? What was my reaction? And I let him put those two together in a split screen and see what my reaction was. Just an idea. Maybe. Some things like that. But we'll be working on stuff like that as we go forward. But Anyway, last call on questions, comments. Glad you guys stopped by. Start of the show was late today, but again, we were kind of laying this is just a catch up, catch up. We'll be unveiling all the news and notes we'll have in the off season. Expect to hear from our folks in tickets, like this gentleman behind me. Expect to hear from Mark Brandmeier, Mark McKee, of all the major players around here on our shows. You're also here talking with Joe as well. We're going to keep you informed and try to follow our players and Winter Bowl, all the things that keep you informed what's going on, and really from the Wood Thrush Studios, the Wood Thrush Studio, or perhaps some days at 4th grade at Prince of Peace. Which I still have. The league think that's hilarious that I did Zoom calls with my 4th graders in the background. Mr. Vaughn, can I go to the restroom? Mr. Vaughn cracks me up in the first place. But hello, Nick. Hello, Nick. Hello, Nick. How are you? Shirley Burnett Scott says, hello, Nick.
How we doing?
She's on the screen there. Nick's like you guys have seen this, the Labor Day telethon that Jerry Lewis used to do, right? They still do it, right? Don't they do it? But when as a kid growing up, you'd watch the telethon and you would see them behind there on the phones, right? Nick's kind of that guy on the phones that people are going, what's this guy doing? He's raising money for the Monarchs. Yes, we're raising money for the Monarchs. Come on. What, we got another donation. We've got another $100 donation. All right. That's what we're doing. We're doing a telethon here. It's telethon time here. An idea. Maybe what we should do is a ticket telethon. Now we got ideas flowing. Look at this. We got all the ticket folks behind me. I'll just do a show and I'll talk for 3 hours. We'll do it. What we'll do is a 24-hour marathon. Can I do it? We'll go for 24 hours and do tickets. I didn't say that, did I?
No.
I didn't say that, did I? Well, you guys do shifts. I'll just keep talking for 24 hours.
Okay.
Now, I got to stretch once in a while. So when I stretch, I'll have somebody follow me around with the camera. But good work, Nick, says Carol. Now, look at Nick. See, Nick's actually doing something. Vaughn just sits there and talks. Can Nick shut this jackass up? They're all saying.
I'm going to call Carol soon.
Carol, your call's coming.
You're on the list.
Carol, you're on the list. You're on the list, mate. Everybody's on the list, right? You should all be on the list. Season tickets.
Yes,
Don't forget, and Nate was telling us this earlier, and I probably should pull this up. Where's my graphic on this? I thought I had it. Let me see if I got it. Tacos and tequila. And again, don't eat chihuahuas. I told Nate. Don't do that. So I think I've got my graphic here. Give me a moment. Talk amongst yourselves. Let's see here. I believe it is. I know I did it. Nope, that's Jay. Nope. I'll give you one more shot of the good news highlights as well. I know I've got it here somewhere. Tacos and tequila. Just don't remember I don't know what show it was on. Put these in files. They're not getting shows files, but don't see it there. I'll screen share it for you guys. We got to screen share it real quickly here. And by the way, a couple more items too. Later on this afternoon, in about an hour's time, Joe Capietro will be on the what you told. You know what? That's a very good question. How did we steal on Friday? How did we steal on Monday? Did we steal a base on Monday? The final total was it's $2 a base, but I think what I'm going to do, and that's a great question. I think I should probably tell you folks that now. The Monarchs stole. Where are we? There we go. The Monarchs stole 77 bases. So what is that times 2? 141. What is it? 164? Was that right? 14. Yeah. 154. 154. Okay, 154 right now. But what I decided to do was to match that. So I'm looking at around $300 total from my pocket. And I did save some meal money and have some It's meal money saved, and we're going to definitely do that. But yeah, that'll be, as a matter of fact, I don't know the exact date on that, but that will probably be next week on my last day or two here. But yes, it'll be so 154 plus my extra donation. So looking at $300. So we never really did and I want to do it the last weekend. I get these big ideas, and sometimes I got to pare them down. But I have these big, and then it really comes down to having the staffing side of it covered. And we really need to get the game stories done instead of worrying about my telethon. But we'll do that. We'll do it next year during broadcast. All kinds of fun stuff. So there we go. Oh yes, the show today. Joe Capietro will be on this afternoon on Carter's show on the association, and that I believe is at 3:30. It's on the American Association show, which comes on at 3:30. We'll put this in the screen here for you. Oh, sorry about that. Let's just do this. All kinds of fun today. Here is Carter's graphic. There we go. Joe will be on the show this afternoon at 3:30. I don't know anything more than that, but Joe Capietro will be on today. The American Association now on the season, last one of the year. Joe Capietro joining, and that'll be on at 3:30 on the American Association Facebook site. Joe Capietro getting that interview done today. So that's all exciting stuff right there. And Joe will be on. He also trying to reach out and get him on the league's final show of the year next week. But right now he'll be on that show this afternoon. Joe Capietro appearing on the the league's show right there. That'll be and Carter's done a great job this year. Carter, phenomenal work. Carter was a couple-year voice of the Sioux Falls Canaries and transitioned into this league role. Has done a great job this year with it. Really fine young man, and one of those guys that you really pull for, and you're glad he's doing what he's doing with the league, and what the league's done. The league has stepped up what they've done, and guys like Carter are doing great things for us. Just extra league content that we didn't have before, and it's great that we do have that. So all good with Carter doing that show, and that will be today at 3:30. 3:30. And did you guys a lot of good stuff. I hope you guys are going to check it all out. A lot of good stuff that was out there on our pages. We had of course the Union Station was lit up last night. That was really cool. Just the love across the city from our mates across the street to the soccer team on the street to everybody, just really into what we're doing. And of course the museum, all that, just really great stuff, and just phenomenal love from the entire Kansas City area. And just, you got to love what we've seen and what we've done, and just phenomenal, and love all that that's going on this year. And just winning a championship's huge. And you do that, and you rock it like we did. And let's bring me back here as I've got that off now. There we go. But yeah, Tacos Tequila this weekend. I thought I had a graphic for it, but I guess I don't. But swore I had a graphic for it, but it's all good, right? All right, we'll keep you updated. The show will come back. Right now we're on the 22nd of September. I'd imagine in about a month's time we'll do something, if not earlier, and we'll get through the off-season show going, Hot Stove. If you have any questions or comments, you can always reach out to the ball club or reach out to me personally. If you have anything you want to chat about, you can reach me, and I'll put this in the chat right here. And you can just follow me there. Sorry about that. Got a little glare here. I think that's right. Oops. There we go. There's my email right there, folks. You have comments, just want to keep up, catch up, want to chat, whatever. I'll be happy to hear from you. Also, you get really bored, I'll do my Friday happy hours eventually. That'll be coming back as well on my YouTube channel. And again, just follow the team channels, Facebook, Team Facebook, the Team Twitter, Team Instagram, my Facebook, my Instagram and Twitter, the best place to go. That's where all the good stuff will be. And then my YouTube page is Dan Vaughn Broadcaster. It's pretty simple and all kinds of stuff there. But I'd love to have you guys stop by. But much love. Appreciate everybody stopping by this year. This is, by my count, we played 100 games. We did, on average, we did 5 of these shows a week. Now, there was some weeks, well, more than that, I'm sorry. We did 4 of these shows a week because of travel. We sometimes didn't do them, but we did about 4 of these shows a week. About 80 shows. And we also did the short pre-games. They weren't very long, but these shows, these were good. So I hope you guys enjoyed them. We're going to keep adding things to it. This whole software I'm using keeps getting new things. For example, this new thing they put in there puts the chat up there for me without me having to do it, which is kind of cool. Yes, I can't wait to spend time with her. And by the way, her birthday's tomorrow, so happy birthday a day early. Happy birthday a day early. WD-40, her birthday's tomorrow. She turns 33 tomorrow. But yeah, glad you guys all stopped by. Thanks to all you folks. I mean, just if you're watching on replay, thank you for stopping by. Everybody that stopped by all year, you make the show, you make this thing. You're the best fans, and that's the reason I believe we're the best, because you guys are. I say it every time. I continue to preach this, and I'm going to preach it after what we went through in 2020. Let's be better tomorrow than we were today. Show more love tomorrow than we did today. Let's be better fans tomorrow than we were today. Much better fans next year. We're going to be better. And we're the best fans now. Let's just keep getting better. Keep doing that. And just be proud to be a Monarch, proud to be part of Reign Reborn, proud to be a part of this great ride we're on. And we're going to continue to ride. And looking forward to 2022 and then continue to add things to the broadcast and what we're doing and our footprint. And you're going to see it just continue to grow. Little things here and there. But I'll give you guys a final timeout. I think the final timeout, I can get you the good news highlights one more time. You missed them. If you missed them on the show yesterday, which I kind of stumbled through it, give them to you one more time. Okay, again, thanks for joining me, everybody. Love y'all. Much love to y'all. And what is this here? Got one more there. There's on you, mate. Appreciate you, Brian. Again, everybody that's been a part of this one, every one of y'all, thank you for a phenomenal year. I love every one of y'all very, very much, and I mean that. It's always this time of year for me is always hard, the transition, because there's 2 hard transitions: the one getting ramped up and the one getting deramped. And I've been going on a fever pitch pace for 5 months, really since May. What was it, 6th? Every day something, and as we got going, rolling. And suddenly it stops. You're like, there's still little things to wrap up, but the adrenaline that goes with my job, the adrenaline rush I get, it's gone now. And I have to sort of decompress. It's a strange time for me. So it's really emotional time for me, and it's a strange time. But it happens every year, and we fight through it, and we do it again in the spring. And we'll talk and then as we talk in the winter, we'll be getting fired up, and eventually we'll get back doing this one more time, celebrating another championship. All right. Happy birthday, Mrs. V. Yes. Brian has a cake for you. Sarah says happy birthday. Yes. Birthdays are great. Championships are great too as well. Love you guys. I'll see y'all in about a month. Here is the good news highlights one more time. Much love to everybody. And as we always say, let's do a 1, 2, 3 go Monarchs one final time. Here, hold on. Put this in the screen here before I go too far. Somebody had deleted it. There we go. Little 1, 2, 3 go Monarchs. You guys ready? 1, 2, 3 go Monarchs. I'll see you in about a month. There you go. Again, there's a 2-2 offering. Gabby hits one out to right field. Drifting back is Silviano, still going toward the corner at the track. That ball's off the wall. Here comes one run. Here comes another. Coming for a third. It's a bases clearing double. It's 3-0 Kansas City. Two one. Gillespie takes it in. Here's a wild pitch coming home. Is Sweeney. He'll dive in. He will score as he collides with Tom. There's the 1-0.
Line to left, that'll be a base hit. That'll clear the outfielders there. Rounding is one more. Racing for two, McCullough. He'll be in there with a stand-up double. And the Monarchs open it up with a 7-1 lead. Two. Ground ball up the middle, get on through, that's a base hit. Rounding third is McCullough, he will score. It's 8-1 Kansas City. McCullough touches the plate, claps the hand. To the middle, Kelly grounds out towards short. There could be two. Flip for one, on to first, double play. Turn him, burn him. 6-1. A little roller back to the mound. There's McGrain. He'll race to first base. He'll do it by himself. And the Monarchs have won it. Reign reborn. Reigns again. The 2021 American Association champions. And you can notch this one. Final score, Kansas City 8 and Fargo Moorhead 1.